Hello, dear students. Myself Anurag Kumar Srivastava. I'm a lecturer in public administration with Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar. Today I'm going to deal with the very important topic in the Indian financial system, and that is the budget. Dear students, as you all know, that budget is all about the financial aspect of the government. Without budgeting, without money, no government can ever supposed to move. Now there are various stages in the preparation of the budget, its presentation to the parliament, and its enactment, approval, and finally the execution. At this juncture, I am going to deal with the enactment of the budget, and for the common understanding, the word budget has been taken from the French parlance, that is, the word is budget, and from there this word has come in the form of budget, current word. However, in Indian parliamentary system, there is no as such word budget. The budget is officially known as Annual Financial Statement or AFS. The enactment of the budget simply means the passage of the budget or the approval of the budget by parliament and finally its ratification by the President of India. And as you all know that in the public administration, no governmental system can ever be functional without having the responsibility towards the highest chamber, that is the legislative chamber or the parliament. So, for every penny which is supposed to be spent, the executive should and must be taking the approval of the legislature, that is our parliament. Without the enactment of the budget, neither the money can be collected or withdrawn from the consolidated fund of India. Now there are certain constitutional provisions with regard to enactment of budgets. I am just briefly mentioning these, that President shall in respect of every year every financial year cause to be laid before both the houses of parliament an annual financial statement or AFS or budget under Article 1112. That means simply budget is presented in Indian Parliament under the name of annual financial statement and the article is 1112. Second, no demand for a grant shall be introduced except on the recommendation of the President of India, and the article governing is 113. Another article very important, no money shall be withdrawn from the consolidated fund of India except the passage of Appropriation Act, which is mentioned in the article 114 of Indian Constitution. No money bill shall be introduced in the parliament except on the recommendation of President, article 117. And another very important or cardinal principle of budgeting when it comes to the Indian context, that is the expenditure which are charged upon the consolidated fund of India, they will not be submitted to vote, they will only be discussed on the floor of the parliament. Now, what are the stages in the enactment? It includes the presentation of the budget to the legislature. Second is general discussion. Third is the scrutiny by the departmental standing committees. Fourth is the voting on demand for grants. Along with that, the cut motions. Next is the fifth is vote on account. Sixth is passage of appropriation bill. And finally, passage of finance bill. And with this, the stages in the enactments of budget gets over. Presentation of the budget. As you all know that in India, budget is presented in two parts. One is real budget, another is general budget or union budget. Budget is presented today. We are focusing only on the general budget. Budget is presented by the by the finance minister on the floor of the Lok Sabha, and that speech is known as budget speech, which is delivered by the finance minister. Generally, the last working day of February is designated for the presentation of the budget. General discussion includes the general orientation or the general characteristics of the budget, what is all about the budget. General discussion is a British legacy which starts generally after 3 to 4 days or even 1 week when after the presentation of the budget. And The duration of general discussion may be stretching up to the 4 days maximum. This is generally a political discussion. No financial angle is involved in general discussion. No cut motion can ever be moved at this time. At the end of the general discussion, the finance minister is supposed to provide a general reply. After general discussion, this practice, the scrutiny by the departmental standing committees, this is a new or a recent activity which has started from the year 1993 onwards, and this has given a new tool in the hands of Indian Parliament to scrutinize the budget. The departmental standing committees, they scrutinize the demands for grants which have been raised by various ministries and departments. The basic purpose of this scrutiny is to go through these demands with their previous year's performance and to find out how much they demand and what is the genuineness, what is the requirement, their overall need and their overall objective consideration when they are putting their demands. Generally 1 month or maybe slightly more than that is required to get the reports of these departmental standing committees, and then after when the report is arrived, the voting on demand for grants takes place in Lok Sabha. It is the exclusive privilege of the Lok Sabha to go for voting on demand for grants. Rajya Sabha has no power. And at this stage, 3 cut motions are also brought: policy cut motion, economic cut motions and token cut motions. These motions, policy cut motion, generally talk about that when members of parliament may not be in consonance with the policy of the government, they may be raising question about that, any funding regarding that. Economic cut may be relating to the economic cut relates with the substantial amount of cut may be required in the budget, and token cut just a symbolic cut from the certain amount of money which has been earmarked for any scheme or program. Generally, cut motions are brought on the floor of the house, but no cut motion is ever supposed to be passed because the government is supposed to have the majority on the floor of the Lok Sabha, and hence no cut motion is ever going to be passed. But cut motion provide the members of parliament to ventilate their grievances and to correct the course of the governmental working if they find certain kind of aberrations. And on the 26th day of the overall voting on demand for grant, Speaker puts all demands for voting, and this is known as guillotine in the Indian parliamentary context, whether these demands have been discussed or not. And finally, after that, the passage of appropriation bill takes place under Article 114. No money, remember, can ever be withdrawn. Not a single rupee can be withdrawn unless and until the passage of appropriation bill takes place. No changes, however, can ever be brought in the appropriation bill. And then vote on account comes, because you know that generally 2 months or more than 2 months may be required in completing the entire proceedings of the budget, and as we are aware that 31st March is the last working day of our financial system. Hence, and beyond 31st March, there is no money or rupee supposed to be left with the executive. In order to overcome this crisis, vote on account device has been provided so that for 2 months until the passage of budget, 1/6 amount of the total estimated amount of money is granted. And finally, with the passage of finance bill, the enactment of budget comes to an end. Finance bill is the income side of the government where the taxation proposals are brought into being, and any such changes which member of parliament deem fit, they can also bring that. Within the 75 days, finance bill is approved, and this completes the entire enactment of the budget. Thank you.